Hey guys, I'm with Farouk. He's the CEO and founder of DryDesert. Maybe you can introduce yourself and what you do with your agency.
Yes, for sure. Thanks, Osman. So my name is Farouk. I run DryDesert. This is a digital marketing slash design agency. We specialize in creating animated videos for SaaS companies. And yeah, we've been doing this now for a couple of months, and it's been quite a journey so far.
Awesome. So Farouk and I have been working together to help them scale their agency using a cold email and outbound systems at scale. But before getting into this, maybe Farouk can explain to us before working with us, what was your strategy in terms of lead generation? Where were you at before joining Scale Biometrics?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like a lot of agencies, I already had experience running another agency before. And typically the process is where we sort of depend a lot on sort of referrals and word of mouth at first, a lot of like inbound leads, if you want to say, people in your network kind of sort of reaching out to you, needing help with a particular thing or two. And, obviously that works to an extent, but, there you reach a level where you have limitations in terms of like scaling up. So we tried different things. Tried generating leads through Upwork. Tried generating leads through, outreach on social media, and even at some point attempted cold email as well.
Yeah, that's always the feedback that I get when I get on these type of interviews. It's always the business owner generate leads with his network, with word of mouth. But it's always hard to scale predictably and hard with this type of client acquisition channels. So an outbound strategy is always one of the most important part of a scaling strategy. And yeah, so before getting into the results that we got for you guys, maybe you can explain to us what made you decide to work with us specifically, since there are so many lead generation agencies out there.
Right. So as I mentioned earlier, like we attempted at some point to run cold email. Now, a lot of times we try to do things in house, especially when it comes to lead generation at first, at least to try to see if it's something that we're able to do. And we were able to set up everything as sort of as planned. However, the results that we were getting were underwhelming, which is problematic, and it was in hindsight is quite expected as well. I mean, we've not done cold email before, so we would did now it makes sense like as to why we didn't see results. So we knew that it was something that we could see potential with. However, we didn't know sort of what approach to take to actually unlock that potential. Then I got in a conversation with you, and we've met in a community that we're both in, which is called Client Ascension. Now, I actually saw that you were already bringing a lot of results for your clients in Europe, and that you were actually looking to also sort of enter into the US market. And I was like, well, perfect. I'm in the US market as well. So this is a great opportunity for us to collaborate. So reached out, and we set this whole thing up. And to be honest, I don't know what my expectations were, but I was like, I think we could do at least a bit better than where we were before. I was saying like we were getting we expected to at least see some improvements, but we didn't expect the improvements to be as good and as sort of like wow as they actually were
Yeah.
when we started actually running campaigns with you.
I'm very glad to hear that, and I'm super excited for you guys because yeah, the campaigns are working fine, and I hope you're gonna get way more deals than what you're getting already from outbound. So I think we've been working together for 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe you can share with us the KPIs. So how many calls have you booked? How many deals have you closed? And what do you have in the sales pipeline?
Right. So just before that, I guess to kind of give a bit of a summary. So before I got a bunch of replies on my campaigns. I had sent out like 3,000 emails or something. But I was just getting, I got probably like, I jumped on like one or two calls, and I got a bunch of other people that were interested, but I couldn't even convince them to get on a call. The people I got on a call with also, I struggled in clothing. So that was like a bit of a hard thing. And then afterwards, when we started working together, this is when, it's almost as if overnight now, half of my job was just sitting here in this office taking these calls, because uh, we started running campaigns together around like 2, 3 weeks when I started noticing like the huge jump in calls. So I was getting like one or two calls a week, and all of a sudden I found myself with around like 10 or 12 calls in like 10 days or so. which
Yeah,
was crazy. Like I was jumping on call and just getting done with that, jumping another call afterwards. So,
that's awesome.
it's good, really good problem to have. Yeah. And the great thing as well is actually we've been able to close one of these deals as well. I think I would like to give a lot of credit to you as well, because yes, you are running cold email campaigns for us, but you've been so cooperative with us throughout the entire process. You know, you've actually guided us not only in the process where we actually send out the emails, but also process of where we actually get to respond to the people that actually get back to us with certain objections, and also even give some advice when it comes to how sort of to treat the sales calls. Because at the end of the day, if we're generating leads but we're not closing the deals, I mean, you know, it's a problem.
Yeah, definitely. Most agencies out there, they generate the leads for their clients, but that's all, and because that's their responsibility. But our goal is to give you a proper ROI and a positive ROI. And sending cold emails is just one part of the process. As you said, doing the response handling is an art in and of itself, because if you get positive responses, but you don't know how to convert those responses into calls, you're never going to get sales calls. And if you don't run a proper sales process and you never close any of these deals, it doesn't matter how many calls you get, and you're just wasting time on calls. So as you said, I think it's around 12 calls that we've generated in the first 2 to 3 weeks working together. You've already closed one of the deals and you have more in the pipeline. That's awesome. So this is for the results, but maybe some people who are listening to our interview right now are maybe thinking, well, how is it to work with us? How is it like in terms of communication? How is it like in terms of, yeah, just the overall experience? If you can maybe give a bit of feedback, and if someone is on the fence, he or she doesn't know if they should book a call or just start working with us, what would you say to them?
Right. First of all, the first impression that a lot of people, including me, have is usually like, I could just do this on my own. Like the first thing you just like, I want to try cold email, so I'm just gonna do this on my own. I don't need outside help. Why am I gonna pay an agency to do this for me? Like makes no sense. That was my first reaction, to be honest. And until you actually start realizing you're not getting seeing the results that you want. And then at the end of the day, you have to remember as well, like the lead gen agencies like you, especially you in this case, like you do this for a living. This is your bread and butter. You actually know stuff. You know the ins and outs. And I actually got to see this in action. I was quite impressed because there's these small changes and intricacies that you sort of like implemented into the email campaigns that sort of like I was just like, will that really like make that big of a difference? And then actually we see this in action. We're like, whoa, like I didn't think that was gonna work, but it did. So
Yeah.
it goes to show how much I didn't know. And I've been doing lead gen, especially like cold outreach for a lot of my clients for the past 2 years. But like I haven't been doing anything with cold email. And I thought I could probably figure this out. Not at all. I mean, so a lot of props to you in that. Now, sort of the experience as well, which is really important too. Like it's very important for me when I want to work with an agency is for them to actually be super cooperative and super helpful, right? I don't want to be treated as sort of like where I just get part of the solution, if you want to say. And we were talking about this earlier. Like you were not there just to generate leads. You were there to help me get the results that I was looking for, which is actually getting more not only more calls, but actually close more deals. So you were throughout the whole process being super patient, super helpful, guiding us throughout the entire process, which to me, like I'm forever grateful. I feel like as a salesperson now I've improved because of you, and sort of like understanding the game of lead generation I've also improved because of you as well. So to me, like that's now like something that like it's an additional skill that I have as well, which I'm just super grateful for. So thank you.
It's so rewarding as a business owner to hear you say all of those kinds of words. So I'd like to say thank you, Farouk, as well, and thank you for your time as well, for being here today and sharing your experience. If anyone is listening to this interview and wants to get on a call with us, you know where to find us. If you're on the fence, please do consider sending us an email or booking a follow-up call. And if you're a B2B SaaS and you're looking for an animated video to improve your conversion rate, you can hit up Farouk at. Can you maybe share your URL or your website, Farouk?
Yes. DryDesert.co is the URL. And you can find me on Twitter at Build and Scale.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Farouk. Have a great day.
Thank you, Asma.